It's time for Kyber Corp's KC Cup. We're about to begin the first round of the KC Cup. Both duelists enter.
Squish or be squished. Those are the only options.
Hey everyone, it's CurlyHairedHero, and welcome back to Yu-Gi-Oh! 7 Trials to the, something or other. You know the fucking name of the game better than I do at this point. I'm gonna keep accidentally saying Eternal Duelist Soul every time I try to do this intro, so I'm not even gonna bother. We're again playing this game. I started playing this many eons ago, and then kind of took a break. I kind of did the same exact thing that I did with Boktai, which is kind of funny, because I kind of just picked up Boktai again, but I recorded an episode after not recording an episode after a long time, and then I took another massive break to record another episode, and I recorded another episode after that. Just now, after a very long time. But we are here, we're playing this game yet again. I actually wanted to kind of skip this game. I do want to finish it just because I did get a couple of comments in the past, and you know, it did relatively well. So I felt really bad for not finishing it. I don't know if there's anyone still around that actually still watches it, or would watch this. But I felt the need to sort of, you know, beat this again. I don't really have the greatest hand. But what I wanted to do instead was I kind of wanted to skip ahead, and I wanted to start playing the DS games. There's a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh! Games on the DS. For example, the first one I think was Nightmare Tool Trouble Bar. I'm not really sure how to say it, but it's something around those lines, right? And it's in the DM era, so with, you know, Yugi and Joey and all those characters, Kaiba. So it's around those times, and it's kind of weird. I played it for a little bit on my own, kind of to sort of see how it works. And, you know, I don't really like it too much. It's kind of slow, and it uses a lot of the older cards, which I feel like we've been using for like the last millennium. Right? Because a lot of the... They've released, I don't know how they did this, but they released so many of the of Yu-Gi-Oh! Games, video games, that only use the like first set of cards, and the first like 1,000 or 2,000 set of cards, and they released since then like, you know, 4,000 other cards, and they have so many fewer video games that use all of those other cards. So it's pretty interesting, but I kind of don't want to continue using those cards. Once we get into the DS era, we do get to the point where we stop using so many of these cards, or these repeated cards. We start getting new stuff with, you know, the all the new cards that came in the GX era, and then afterwards the 5Ds era, stuff like that. Right, so I want to start playing games in those era, just because they do have a lot newer cards and a lot newer mechanics. You know, it's not just me going using beatdown decks and trying to make things interesting and whatnot. So I was going to skip over to Nightmare Toolbar, but I did play that a long time ago. I don't really like how that game plays or looks, so I'm probably going to just not play that one at all. Then they released another game. I think it was... I don't remember the years of it. I think it was 2000... It must have been 2007, actually, because 2006 is the one that we played on the channel that, you know, came out in 2006, obviously, but it was part of the World Championship series. I think all of the games are part of the World Championship series. Like, this is technically World Championship 2004. They just renamed it differently in the States. But I was going to play, I think it was 2007, because I thought that that was a version. But essentially, there's a version that takes part in the DX era that's really fun, because it has sort of like a story mode where you kind of go and see all of the like the spirits, and you go into like the spirit world and you duel monster spirits and stuff like that, and you have to do like little objectives and stuff like that. And I was really looking forward to playing that, because it would be nice to play a Yu-Gi-Oh! Mode with a story, especially considering that afterwards we actually do get more story mode based Yu-Gi-Oh! Games. For example, There are Legos Give the Duelist, which is the recent version now where they kind of just, their story mode is the entirety of the anime, all the different series. But aside from those, there was the 5Ds DS games that I really want to play because they had their own story mode. They were based off the anime, but it wasn't you playing as Yusei. You were your own created character, and in the first game, they kind of followed the plot of the anime really closely of 5Ds as the first couple of episodes. Then in the second game, they kind of strayed from that a lot. They focused on like Divine and the Arcadia movement stuff, and then in the third game, they focused on just the crash sound stuff, which was just, you know, the 3 episodes, but they made an entire story out of that, which was pretty cool. So, you know, they have their own segmented stories, which is pretty cool, rather than just me going and playing the Arcadia ones, which, you know, are fine, but I feel like that's all we really played. So I'm hoping to be able to get into that pretty soon, but I wasn't sure which game exactly it was that had the story mode that I was talking about. I thought it was Spirit Caller for this entire time. So that's what it was. There's a game between, there's 2007, which has the story mode. I found it. But before that, I thought it was actually Spirit Caller. Especially considering the name, Spirit Caller, you would think that it has to do with the spirit world in Yu-Gi-Oh! And whatnot, but it has nothing to do with that. Instead, it's just a run-of-the-mill Yu-Gi-Oh! Championship game. They do a lot of, you know, interesting things here and there, where you know, they kind of set the standards that you're going to start seeing in the future for Yu-Gi-Oh! Games or Yu-Gi-Oh! Video games, which is pretty good. It all kind of started there, but it's still one of the like arcadey ones where it's not really too much for me to do. So I don't know if I really want to do that game. I might just skip ahead of it and, like I said, jump over into 2007, which has the story mode. So that's what I was going to do next. But the more I saw this game, the more I looked back at some of the comments I got and whatnot. I was like, man, I should really finish this damn game. So I'm going to try my best to actually finish this. This game is pretty interesting, the way it's structured. Because how it works, basically, it just has tournaments that I'm supposed to go through. And it has tournaments that I can just fight against the Yu-Gi-Oh! cast of Yu-Gi-Oh! characters. But in between the tournaments, you just kind of like mess around. It's kind of arcadey in that sense, where you just gotta go around getting DP in order to buy cards. And we're in the Casey Cup right now. They have several other tournaments that we've done. They've had a card shop tournament, which is kind of whatever. And then there was, I think it was the weekend tournament is what the other one was. And we did that. Those were kind of not much to talk about. The Casey Cup is our first like legitimate tournament because this one actually has a lot of rounds to it. We're in round 1, and I think it has like 6 or 7 or 8 rounds. So we're going to be at this for a while, which is okay. Let's try and end this a little bit quicker. And after the Casey Cup, I think they have like the national tournament or something like that, which is going to follow the Casey Cup once we get there. But I don't know how like long that is. And I think after that, we pretty much beat the game. So it's going to be a bit of a stretch considering how long the Casey Cup is. But once we're done with it, we're almost done with the game, is what I'm trying to say. As we go ahead and use Galmera Sword here to finish off Rex Raptor in round 1 of, or rather game 1, I should say, of the match of round 1 of the Casey Cup. This is the deck that I built the last time we did this, or at least I said I was going to build it. I don't know if I did it on screen, but it's basically just a warrior deck, and I tried to pick like female warrior cards because I like doing some kind of theme. Because just picking warrior cards is a little too broad. So this is the deck we're going to go through and play the tournament with. I don't know if it'll really do too well, but we'll see. I don't really have any super strong cards. I have a lot of weak monsters, but as you can see, Rex Raptor is a bit of a pushover. He doesn't really have much at his disposal either. But in any case, like I said, I do want to go and do those other games that I mentioned, but I think we're just going to take things a little bit slow. For now, we'll go back to this. I haven't really been playing any Yu-Gi-Oh! At all. I've taken a small sort of break. Before, it was, oh wow, we have the same monster. It was this sort of like overload of Yu-Gi-Oh! I want to say, because we were doing Duel Links. Constantly, I was playing Duel Links on my phone. Like, legitimately, every second that was possible, I would play Duel Links. Even if it wasn't, like, seriously playing the game, I was still, you know, playing it. Even if it was just to... What trap cards do I have? I have 7 tools. Yeah, we can use 7 tools. It was just playing it to, like, go through the auto duels and just get my rewards real quick and, you know, not do much about it. But there was a point, you know, where we were making content for Duel Links, all these kinds of things, right? But then after a while, I started to grow sour with Duel Links. So they weren't really doing anything new, and why did my attack not go up when I placed? I feel like, oh, there we go. Okay, that was weird. Anyways, I felt sort of bored with the game because they weren't really adding anything new. Nothing's really been changed. They were just kind of doing sort of the same old events, adding in characters that I didn't really care about, adding cards that I didn't really care too much about, and then expecting me to pay a whole bunch of money for them. And I was kind of like, yeah, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm not really enjoying it. So I just took a break from it, and instead I've actually been playing another card game, which was probably the final nail in the coffin, because I've been on the fence about continuing to play Duel Links for a while, but the existence of another mobile card game that I can play sure made things hella easier for me. So I've been playing a lot of Card Fight Vanguard, which is, it's not so much only a mobile card game, it has an actual physical release, and you can, you know, play it physically. It has an anime as well, which is what I'm most familiar with. I didn't actually get a chance to play the physical card game, both because I never bought enough cards to make a deck, and also because I didn't really have anyone to play with. I didn't really try and go out and play in like tournament, or not so much even tournaments, but just go to like a card shop or something like that. The only experience I have with card games is just playing it with people that I know. I've never gone out of my way really to play a card game, regretfully. And given the current state of the world right now, that's not really a possibility. But in any case, I was able to finally pick up the game now that they have the mobile version, Card Fight Vanguard 0, or just Vanguard 0. And it's a lot of fun. They do a couple of things that I really do like when it comes to like the gacha mechanics that makes it a little bit more bearable than Duel Links. And the main thing that they do is that they allow you to craft cards. Any cards. Duel Links lets you craft the cards, but it's only specific cards that they choose and let you craft, right? Whereas in Vanguard, you can craft any fucking card you want. Be it a card, you know, any cards that are in like the boxes that they want you to pay money for. If you grind enough, you can actually get the card. Just get that copy of the card. Whereas in Duel Links, it was sort of the opposite. You had to grind to get gems, assuming you could actually grind to get gems, you know. If you're like me and you've been playing it since the start and you've maxed out all of your characters, so there's no way for you to get free gems, you would max them out to get those gems and then use that as a chance to pull the cards that you need from the gacha, right? That's normally what you would do in Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links, which kind of sucks, like I said, especially for me, because the only way that I can really get gems is either from events or from ranked matches, and even then it's barely enough to buy enough to get a lot of cards. Whereas in Vanguard, especially considering that it's new, they give you a lot of free packs, which I can use to get most of the cards and then craft whatever's missing. So I don't really have to spend a lot of money, and it's pretty free to play in that regard. The Ice Age here. You win! Congrats on making it to the second round. The second round will take place next Sunday. Your opponent will be Weevil Underwood. make sure you and your deck are ready. See you next week. We're going to get a nice stack of 1,000 DP as the game saves. It's going to bring us out of the arena. And before we end off this episode, I just want to check up here in the card shop. I heard online that supposedly there's like a special pack that only appears during the tournament. I might have read that wrong, but I've checked here a couple of times. Like I've done a couple of trial versions just to kind of see how long and how the tournament would go and whatnot, but I haven't really seen anything, which is kind of disappointing. But you can see I do have a vast majority of the cards. Everything is about 70 or 80% collected for the packs that are available to us. I think the only thing that I don't have maxed out is either Volume X. Nope, I have that at 91 actually. Is this like special monster? Yeah, the Super Monster Collection, which I have at 63. But I guess to end off the episode, we can get. We can only carry 2. He only carries 2 of them, so we can only buy 2 packs, which is a little bit disappointing. But let's go ahead and open these 2 packs really quickly. We're going to get a couple of random cards here, a lot of spirit monsters, but in general, nothing really that we can use. Well, in any case, take care of yourself.